If you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated.
Hello, Lives on the Road subscribers and followers. I've noticed something throughout my life, although it has never affected me until we started this adventure. And I'm not trying to make this about me, because I know everybody's going to say, "Oh, don't worry about the trolls. Don't worry about the mean people. Don't worry about them." And that's not really what I'm trying to say, but it's the only example I have. So understand when you make your comments that I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for me. That's not the point. The point is much deeper than what has happened. But I used to notice when you watch news and the pundits are talking back and forth on the news, and if they start losing the conversation, losing the debate, or whatever you want to call it, or they don't agree, whatever, they start to do personal attacks. Instead of trying to discuss the issues, they'll say, "Oh, you're crazy. That's stupid." And you see it a lot on TV. Even in politics, it's all personal attacks. But in life, it's personal attacks too. You see it all the time. If you're having a conversation with someone and they don't agree with, "Oh, that's dumb. That's stupid. You're nuts." Instead of explaining why they disagree, they just shorten it and go right to the quick and say, "You're nuts." And it's interesting because what got me to thinking about it was coming to Missouri, and it's almost wintertime. But I'll get to that in a minute. But this has happened since we've started the adventure. I mean, even before we started the adventure, we got on the Facebook groups and we were discussing our plan and, trying to come up with ideas and all this. And if someone didn't have something constructive to say, they immediately went to, "Oh, you're insane. Why not go with a travel trailer? That's a stupid idea. You're never going to be able to do. You're dumb." And it was always personal attacks. It was never anything constructive like, well, the alternative could be, or even better, this is what I think a better solution is. But it was just, "You're stupid. You're dumb. You're crazy." Well, okay, well, this crazy guy right here has proven for the last 8 months that it can be done. So why was I called crazy? Why was I called stupid? I mean, why can't they just have a conversation? So fast forward to last week. I made a video about having to come to Missouri, family emergency. We have to take care of the family member. And it was probably, for the first 3 hours, it was the most watched video we've ever done in that 3-hour span. We've had other videos that got more views, but for that 3 hours, it was the most watched video we've ever made. A lot of people watched it. A lot of people were interested in us living in a pop-up, in winter. A lot of people were interested, which means there was a lot of people who decided to comment. And most, don't get me wrong, most was very constructive. Very constructive. Here's some ideas, very few negative. Very few negative. I mean, there were some that's going to say, "Look, it's just not possible." And I think I could probably count how many people said that. Maybe 10, 20 people said, "It's just not going to be possible. You're not going to be able to do it." And that, in my mind, okay, so we've had a disagreement, and these people have said, "Look, I don't think you're going to be able to do it for this reason." And I'm okay with that, because now that's a conversation. That is something that we can talk about. That is something that they can try to convince me and try to change my mind, or maybe I can try to convince them and change their mind. But when people did disagree, for the most part, it wasn't like that. Like I said, that was only 10 or 20 people. When people did disagree, it was, "You're insane. I would never do that. There is no way I would do that. You're crazy. Just last night, someone called me crazy. Because they disagree with what they're doing, what we're doing. And so, you know, of course, immediately you go onto the defensive. What, you're calling me crazy because I'm trying to save, you know, help a family member in this terrible emergency? That's crazy? I would do anything to save this person. Are you saying you wouldn't? So you immediately get into the defensive mode. And I see that with the pundits too. Ah, you're crazy. And they get into the defensive. Instead of being able to explain, okay, I don't think you're going to be able to survive the winter. Could you try XYZ? Nope, you're crazy. And so that puts you on the defensive. And so if you're not careful, you respond. Why am I crazy? I'm crazy for trying to save a family member? I'm crazy for trying to help a family member through a very serious illness? That makes me crazy? I would sleep in a tent. I would sleep on the ground in winter if I had to save this family member. And so you just get into this monster anger. And I've always wondered, especially these professional pundits, these professional debaters especially, why everybody goes for the personal attack. Is it because it's an easy win? As soon as you win, you know, as soon as as soon as someone else gets mad, you win? That might be the reason. I don't know. But it sure has always confused me why people go for their personal attack. And I have made it my mission in life never to go for the personal attack. Either don't say anything at all or say something constructive. You know, an alternative to living in a pop-up camper may be whatever. Okay, so you don't agree that they're staying in a pop-up camper, but that doesn't make them stupid. That makes them in a situation they can't avoid. Did we ever think about that? Going out and living in a pop-up camper, does that really make me stupid? Or is it something that is a lifelong dream to go out and travel the country and this is all we had? Is that a possibility? So I have to conform to your way of thinking in order to be not crazy, not stupid? Well, it goes right back to what I was saying in the beginning. I was called stupid for wanting to live in a pop-up camper. And look, it may not be your idea of a good time, but it certainly isn't stupid because I've been able to make it work. Carolyn and I have been very successful and very happy living in a pop-up camper. So either two crazy people figured out how to do it, you know, bouncing off the walls and being crazy, or two sane people decided to go for an adventure of a lifetime. And that's the one I'm going with. And one other thing, you know, I've called myself an introvert a lot on these videos. I've talked about being an introvert, being an introvert, being an introvert. And, you know, a lot of people say, okay, well, you have a condition. You know, you need to get out in society to break this condition. Well, no, I mean, I've talked about this many times about introverts are just as important to society as social people. But perhaps one of the reasons people become introverts is because they're criticized for their ideas. They're criticized because they want to try something that's never been tried before and they're called crazy. So to avoid being called crazy or stupid or whatever, perhaps they just chose not to say anything at all. Just go and be an introvert. So that might be something to consider also. So next time you disagree with somebody, seriously think of this. The next time you disagree with somebody, don't go for the personal attack. It really, why go for the personal attack? Just to win the argument, or just to be mean, or I don't know what it is. I really don't. But don't go for the personal attack. Come up with something constructive to say, or don't say anything at all. Just like your grandparents said. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video. And happy travels.